Hey guys, what's up? This is John, aka John4576 for Totally Testing, and it's Thursday, so it is a stream day, and we are continuing our journey to the playoffs in BGM mode in NHL 16, and we've got a lot of things to talk about this trade deadline. There's tanking, playoffs, and a bunch of other stuff. But before we get to all that stuff, let's take a look at my BGM. So series is tied at 2-2. I simmed it a little bit. So this will decide who will have that chance to win the Stanley Cup on the next game. Alright, let's play. And get this going. Alright, so before the games tonight, in the Atlantic, Florida is still ahead with 80 points, but Tampa Bay is nipping at his heels at 78 in second place, and who would have thought two Florida teams would be first and second in a division? Very, very crazy. And it's not the Southeast Division, the worst division of them all. It's the Atlantic with actual good teams. Pretty crazy. Well, in third place is Boston. They're at 76, so they're going to try to crash the party. And for your reference, Detroit is at 75. They do have the first wildcard spot. Over in the Metro Division, Washington is continually killing it right now. They're at 98 points now, and they're 2 away from 100 with about 18 games left to go, which is really amazing. They can actually have like 120 points. I mean, not that they need it or anything like that. The Rangers are in second place. They are at 80 points. And the Islanders are 5 points behind them. They're at 75. Over in the wild card, like I said, Detroit's got the first wild card spot at 75, and Pittsburgh has the second wild card spot at 72. It's starting to get clearer now for some teams whether or not they're going to make it to the playoffs or not. The cutoff point is Pittsburgh, but after that you have Philly, who's 3 points down. They have the same games as Pittsburgh, so they might have a chance to catch them. But the rest of the teams down this line are a couple of games ahead of Pittsburgh, so it's gonna be a rough ride. Carolina's at 68, and New Jersey and Ottawa are at 67, so it's getting bleaker and bleaker. And if you ask any Jersey fan, it's pretty much over, barring some kind of miracle.
Dallas setting things up along the board. Snapped up that right wing to Camilleri.
Whoop. Oh, big ding, big ding. No, oh, come on. Nope. Lightning's gonna hold it. Over at the Western Conference, Los Angeles and Anaheim in the Pacific Division are tied with 78 points. Anaheim on a crazy tear. They have won 9 straight. They're 9-0-1 in their last 10. And they are making a statement right now that they are going for it. San Jose is in third place with 74, so they're not too far behind either. So that first place that LA had with that big gap, it's gone now. And then over in the Central Division, the top 3 in the Central are kind of battling it out right now. Chicago is up for now with 85 points. And then Dallas and St. Louis has now caught up with those two teams with 83 points. So a lot of swapping can happen in the next week or two in the Western Conference with those 3 teams. No!
Great stop on to Josephson. Trying to go to Elias. Hammers it.
No quad.
You talk about a heavy, hard shot. Unfortunately, it just missed.
Outlet up the middle to Aiken.
Oh, what a save by Schneider! Over in the wild card, Nashville is currently holding the first wildcard spot at 75, and Minnesota has the second spot at 68. Colorado also has 68 points, but Minnesota has more games in hand, so they take the spot for now. And I added Vancouver in at 60 points just to show you how big the gap is between that cutoff spot and not being in. So it's pretty much a one-team race in the West. And I think the top 3 in each division in that team is pretty much, they're set. They just got to figure out where they want to get slotted in for the most part.
A little under 8 minutes have been skated here in the first. No goals to report yet.
So this past Monday was the trade deadline. It was pretty quiet for the most part on the day of. Over the weekend, if your name was the Chicago Blackhawks, you did wheel and deal a ton. They got Andrew Ladd back from Winnipeg. They got, oh, that was close. They got Dale Weiss from Montreal. They made some little minor league picks, like Corey Troff is now in Anaheim. It was pretty much a minor league deal. And pretty much Chicago has really not a lot of picks now since they pretty much traded all their picks away. But they're pretty much saying to the league, come at us, bro. And making a real strong effort to go for 2. But if it doesn't pan out, man, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a lot for them. Oh, come on.
Walking a thin line near the border there. Looking to Sharp.
Oh shit! I actually kept that in, but I didn't.
Lets it go. Did not find the net with the shot.
For the Devils, they made a couple of moves. They picked up a defenseman off of waivers, who's actually playing his first game tonight against Nashville. And they traded Jelna, which I assumed was gonna happen. I mean, he obviously wasn't happy here in New Jersey, being scratched all the time, and so Shiro dealt him to Colorado for a 3rd-round pick, which is kind of cool. I mean, you weren't gonna get much for him anyway, but there were talks that Colorado didn't really want to trade for picks, and oh, nice goal by Cammy. And in all their trades, they didn't really trade for picks except for the New Jersey one. But again, it's a 3rd-rounder, so, you know, it is what it is. At least the Devils got something out of it. Their next trade was Lee Stepniak to Boston for a 2nd-rounder next year and a 4th-rounder this year. That's your indication that the Devils are in full tank mode. Lee Stepniak was their leading scorer. Besides Mike Camilleri. I mean, he's been out for a very, very long time. But a lot of fans liked him. He liked being in New Jersey, and a lot of fans are actually hoping he comes back after the season's done. His first game with Boston was last night, I believe, and he didn't really do much. A lot of zeros, but they did stick him into the first line, so maybe with a couple more games he'll get used to it and he'll start scoring for them. So I'm kind of rooting for Boston, because I mean, Lee Stepniak came in as a tryout. He worked his butt off to really score a bunch of goals for a very anemic looking offense, and you know, he paid his dues, and now he's got a chance to win a cup. And I know Lee Stepniak gets traded almost all the time. I think this Boston's his 9th team now. But I mean, he's been in the playoffs almost every single time, so you can kind of say that he's always had an opportunity to win the cup. I mean, he hasn't been in like Chicago or anything, so I don't know, your degree of how good his quality chance was to win the cup is varying, I suppose. And then the last trade was to Montreal. It was New Jersey sending Stéphane Matteau for Devante Smith-Pelly. Basically, it's 2 teams trading both of their problems to each other. New Jersey needed a right winger, so they had to go with Devante Smith-Pelly, who's kind of hasn't really gelled with Montreal. He did really well in Anaheim, but he also did play with Corey Perry and Ryan Getzlaf, so I mean, you know, he had two really good quality players to play with, so obviously he's going to be good. But in Montreal, he's been stuck in like the third and fourth line and just hasn't panned out for him this year. So hopefully a new start in New Jersey will be good for him. And hopefully a new start in Montreal will be good for Stéphane Matteau. That guy, he's caused a lot of problems in the fan base. The organization has really messed him up a little bit too. If you're a conspiracy theorist, you can kind of say that the Devils deliberately messed up Stéphane Matteau just because of 1994, but I don't think. I think it's just bad mismanagement, and the guy's got like some kind of ego or temper with him, because you know he had the problems with the junior team in his maybe first year after getting drafted. They burned off his ELC, which kind of made it impossible for him to get sent down without going through waivers this year, so it kind of bit the Devils in the ass this year. So it's just a lot of craziness with that guy, and I'm sure he has the potential to be a decent NHLer, but I don't know if he's going to be any better than Smith Pelly. I think Smith Pelly's got, you know, a more established game to him. But a lot of fans are saying that that's because Stéphane Matteau has not gotten a real fair shake. He hasn't gotten like enough games to really establish his game, which is possible too. But only time will tell whether or not Matteau is going to be a great NHLer or not. I'm going to go with, you know, not a big deal. And at least I don't have to hear any more talks from the fans talk about the stupid, let's get rid the Kovalchuk penalty fiasco and all that nonsense. It's every time Stéphane Matteau's name gets called, it's that fiasco gets brought up, and it's just like, it is what it is. What's done is done. You can't do anything about it. And it's kind of like saying, if I had the numbers of the Powerball, then, you know, I would have won the lottery. But at the time, I didn't have the numbers of the Powerball. So, I don't know. It just infuriates me sometimes when fans talk about that, because they already have the information. They know how certain players panned out, and their defense is always like, well, we should have drafted this player because he would have been a great guy for us. But first of all, who knows if New Jersey would have drafted a guy? They could have drafted a Hugh Jessman type guy, and it would still been all fucked. Second of all, you know, Matteau had a good, you know, prospect profile. Would some people like Brandon Lemieux instead? Possibly. But he had a decent upside. It just hasn't panned out, that's all. And sometimes it just doesn't pan out. And you can't force it. You just probably need to change the scenery, and that's what he'll get in Montreal.
Good face-off win. Drill. Jelen is tripped, and a penalty should be coming. One-timer. And so now a penalty will be handed out.
So we talked a little bit about the trades. How about the trades that didn't happen? Boston could not trade out Louis Eriksson, who is on his last year, and apparently contract talks have not panned out too well. At least they have more time to try to work something out. Maybe a good playoff run will entice Eriksson to stay, but if he decides to walk, then fans will be a little bit upset that the Bruins kept him. But I hope for their sake that they have a deep playoff run so that fans can be like, well, he helped us with a deep playoff run, so it is what it is. Another player that didn't get traded was Jonathan Drouin of the Tampa Bay Lightning. It's been well documented that Drouin and Yzerman are not the best of friends, and Drouin demanded the trade, and Yzerman obviously not giving in to some 21-year-old player demands. He's perfectly fine with him just sitting or getting suspended. I don't even think he's getting paid, because usually when you get paid, you do some kind of work. But what do I know? And there were a lot of talks that a lot of teams, including New Jersey, were giving offers to get Juwen, but none of them has surfaced. So maybe in the draft or during the draft, a trade will happen for Tampa Bay, and they can trade out Juwen. This whole headache for both parties will be over. I mean, Tampa Bay's got other things to worry about, like trying to re-sign Steven Stamkos, which is looking stranger and stranger by the minute because they still have not gotten the deal done. And Toronto's got a lot of cap space with their offloading of many, many players. One of them, James Reimer, one of them, Pollock, Winnick. And I think that's all I can remember off the top of my head. But Toronto's roster looks really, really barren. I mean, they're gonna be last in the league. There's no doubt. They had to actually recall like 5 AHLers. I mean, they're high quality AHLers, and the Marlies have been good this year in the AHL. So they're not like the worst garbage players in the world, but they are AHL players. So
hanging on to it through center.
The tank is totally on for them, and they will more or less get that first spot at least. Maybe not the first pick, depending on what the lottery goes. But at least they'll have the Marlies to cheer on if you're a Leafs fan.
Puck fired down, decision made. Defenders first, icing.
You can't ask much more from your goaltender than this. That's an excellent wrist shot that he's able to.
Oh man, like 3 guys went into that corner. That is like the worst defense in the world.
New Jersey's prevailed on another.
But and 2 more other guys that didn't really get traded and were supposedly supposed to get traded were both in the Vancouver Canucks organization, Dan Hamhuis and Radim Vrbata. Hamhuis had a no trade, so he listed a couple of teams that he wanted to go to. One of them was Dallas and one of them was Chicago. Chicago made all their trades, so they really didn't need him. And Dallas was working on the deal, but it didn't quite pan out. So Hamhuis is still in Vancouver. And apparently no one wanted Radim Vrbata, so he's still in Vancouver too. And I guess fans aren't really happy about that. I mean, Vancouver is pretty much done. Again, when I listed, they're at 60 points. They're 8 points away from a playoff spot. They're pretty much finished. And they got no picks, no deals, no nothing. And I liked how I don't remember who did. It might have been the TSN guys or CBC guys, but they were talking about Vancouver rioting, and that won't ever get old, I suppose.
Letton's able to make what turns out to be a relatively routine butterfly stop.
But since we're talking about tanking and stuff, I did list the teams in the tanking standings. Since New Jersey will join that bunch soon. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. And Toronto is leading by 3 points. They have 52. And then I'll give you a couple of seconds to guess what the next teams are. And I'll give you a hint. They're from Canada. And while you think about that, you can watch the Stars celebrate as they tie the game at 1 with 2:52 left in the second. But I will tell you, New Jersey is in 11th place. They have a 2% chance of getting the first spot. And remember, in this year's lottery, they do 3 lotteries. So the first one that gets picked will get the first pick. The second one that gets picked gets the second pick, and the third one that gets picked gets the third pick. So if you don't get picked the first time, then obviously your chances increase a little bit for the second and third, and then etc, etc, etc. But to the answer to your question, if you guessed Edmonton as the next one under Toronto, then you win. Well, you win some pride, I guess. Edmonton has 55 points. They are 3 points ahead of Toronto, which remember is bad. And the Flames are next with 56. So that's a close race, and I believe Winnipeg is next with 50. Oh, what a goal by Palmieri! That was a bat in. You have Winnipeg with 56 as well. Buffalo with 58. That would be crazy if they got one of the top 3 picks again after getting Jack Eichel. Ridiculous. And I've added in Columbus because I gotta give props to Columbus. They looked like a tire fire at the beginning of the year. I think they went 0-13, and since Torts has come in, they've actually competed every game. Like, that's the one thing about John Tortorella. You might hate the guy, but he will get his squad to compete every game no matter what the standings look or how bleak it is. His teams will compete, and Columbus is showing it, so hope maybe the good karma will give Columbus a top 3 spot. Who knows? It worked for Adam Larson with the Devils way back when.
2 periods have played. A busy time on the shot board. 29 for New Jersey and 16 for Dallas.
So now that we have a little break, let's check out the real people hockey. And the Islanders game, they are down 1-0 to Winnipeg, which is kind of bad for Winnipeg. They kind of want to lose. And I saw it flash 2-1 Nashville in the New Jersey game. And I don't know what the Ranger game is, but it's an intermission. That is very informative. Oh, also, recently, I think yesterday, Ottawa signed Scott Gomez to a deal, which is pretty amazing. I mean, the guy's been tearing it up in the AHL. 4 goals, 20 assists, plus 13, so he's been working his butt off. So I'm happy for him to get a chance at an NHL team. He did really well in New Jersey last year. Oh my god. It's fine, it's 2-2. And talk about high and low trends, and we're going back to the Pacific Division. I mentioned Anaheim is on a insane tear. 9-game winning streak. Again, 9-0-1 in the last 10. Arizona on the low end of that. They are on a 6-game losing streak. And I believe they're at 60 points, so they're still around getting that last wild card spot if you're an optimist, or getting a better chance at Austin Matthews if you're a pessimist. No, no. No, get out of here.
Not often you're all alone in front of the goaltender from this area of the ice. Great save.
Ah, man.
To Sagan. Sagan's got only 1 goal, but that tied up the score. Elects not to shoot. Need to get rid of it. Pass attempt to Toulouse.
And I didn't really want to talk too much about the World Cup of Hockey because I think that whole tournament is lame, but I was just fine like with the IIHF tournament. I don't know if they're probably not gonna do it during the playoffs this year because of the World Cup of Hockey, but I think the North American logo is stupid. It looks weird. It looks like a bunch of stars with the lines across of it. I'm not a fan of it. I know some people are and some people aren't. Devils only have Corey Schneider at the moment. Not all full rosters are released yet, so there's like a chance that guys like Kyle Kyle Palmieri or Andy Green might get in, or even Jacob Josephson for Team Sweden. But I wouldn't hold my breath on it. I mean, I think maybe Kyle Palmieri because he's putting up the goals and he's putting up the numbers. And maybe Jacob Josephson. I mean, he's not putting up the numbers, but he is killer on the power play. I would just have him as a power play specialist, to be honest. And he's not too bad, you know, in even strength. He just can't score goals. That's all. And also, if you want to coach or count Coach Hines as a New Jersey Devil, then you have 2 New Jersey Devils on Team USA because he's an assistant coach. Forgot about that. I also put a little note since I was talking about the AHL and the Marlies being very ridiculous. They're like the Washington Capitals of the AHL right now. They almost actually had the same amount of points. They have 92 instead of 98. Oh my god, Lee Stempniak, man. That guy. But the Albany Devils are actually good this year. I mean, I live like close to Albany, and I go and watch games, and it's kind of depressing to watch them lose all the time, but for once they're actually killing it this year. They are second in the Eastern Conference. They're very, very far away from the Marlies. I think they're like 30 points down. That's how crazy the Marlies are this year. But I know the prospects for Albany or for New Jersey aren't really NHL caliber. I mean, Mike Sislow's had a couple of chances and it hasn't materialized, but I mean, in the AHL he had like a really impressive streak going into that Toronto Marlies game earlier in the week before Toronto got like the kill hammer on Albany and shut them down. Guys like Jan Denis, who have been been around the league for a while, have been holding it up since Scott Wedgwood has been injured. And then you have the guys that are NHL capable, like they're up with the big team. You got your Blandicis, your Reed Bouchers. So it's been great all around. It kind of sucks that Corey Trump got traded away. I mean, he was one of their top performers, but I think Albany should be okay. They lost Blandisi and Boucher, and they were pretty good too. But somehow they've been able to make it happen. So it'll be nice to see them in the playoffs. The last time they were in the playoffs was 2013-2014 season. When they faced St. John's, which was a really good team. They were like really, really good. It was Winnipeg's at the time, farm team. I actually went to the 2 home games for Albany, and the first one it was gonna go into overtime, and then St. John scored with like maybe 30 seconds left, and that hurt a lot. Second game, the Devils came back and they beat them. I forget what the score was, but they did beat them. But once they went up to Newfoundland to play, it was pretty much over. St. John's pretty much crushed them. But I hope Albany gets a deep run. Those young kids, will definitely benefit from playoff experience. And I hope all the prospects get into the playoffs. I know at least Pavel Zacha and the Sarnia Sting are doing pretty well. A lot of the NCAA guys will be in the NCAA tournament, like Stantini and Miles Wood, Kirkfoot and Harvard. Oh man, this is a high cycle. No! Ooh, that was close. That was really close. Nope. Oh, tried to get it, but nope. I'm gonna actually get to the NWHL stuff before the game is over. How about that? So, over in the NWHL, the season's pretty much over. as if you heard last week, pretty much the standings were set then, but I'll reiterate them in a second.
Out of their own end and still with it. Passing one off now to Sagan.
Let me get this puck. Alright. So, Boston is in first place. They ended up with 29 points. They ended the season at a 7-game winning streak. They won their last game against Buffalo. Connecticut is in second place. They got 26 points. They won their last game against New York. Buffalo's in third place with 14 points. And New York is in dead last place with 10. The last New York Rivers game, the Rivers lost 4-2 to Connecticut. It was actually a way better game than the Buffalo game, and that's very encouraging, especially since Connecticut is a way better team than Buffalo. Shyster. There are still some fancy plays that New York keeps making that I wish they would tone down a little bit. But I think with a little bit more practice should be okay. They put in Chelsea Lane in net, gave Donna Fujimoto the night off, probably resting her for the playoffs. Lane made 22 saves out of 25 shots, which is pretty good. Barry Ketchum got a goal, her 10th of the year, and extends her point streak to, I believe, 9 or 10 or something like that. So that's good for her. Brooke Ammerman got 2 assists, so she was very productive.
The Stars waiting back in the defensive zone.
And the Riveters will get ready for Boston, which starts actually tomorrow. It will be a best out of 3 series, and both series, Boston, New York, and Connecticut and Buffalo, they both play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday if necessary. All the times are about 7, 7:30, 8 o'clock. And they can all be streamed at the NWHL website. Hopefully they got their shit together, because during the New York Rivers game, their stream just exploded in the second and third. I couldn't actually see the goals or anything else. And they, were super apologetic and stuff. But hopefully they got their shit together for the playoff games. Alright, 2 minutes left. Let's see if I can pull this one out of the fire. God! Oh no.
That one's to him from his goaltender. The Devils control the play in the defensive zone.
Nope. Oh! Try and pick that corner. Oh, Henrique was all spun around. No.
The Stars lock the puck in the defensive zone to Jamie Benn.
Come on. Get up. Give me the puck, man. Oh.
Trying to go to Steven Giunta.
Oh, God, Steven Giunta. Oh, no!
What magic even to get there and get the shot off.
A missed opportunity.
Oh, man, come on.
New Jersey's in possession.
Come on. Come on, come on. Oh, man. Please. Oh, no.
Dallas has possession in the defensive zone. Good work through center ice by Moe.
Oh, man, I'm going to have... No. Nope.
You cannot afford to make any mistakes. That puck's got to get in deep.
Well, it was bound to happen. I was going to lose, and this one's the worst one to lose, as it puts Dallas up 3-2, and they could win the cup in the next game. Let's see. So, after the first round, well, I guess they're calling it the semifinal round, goes through, the finals of the Isabel Cup will be at the New Jersey Devils practice rink, which I believe is still called the AmeriHealth Pavilion, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know why no one can figure that out, but it could also be the Prudential Center practice rink. I honestly don't know, but it's going to be there the week after, I believe, and that is another Friday, Saturday, Sunday if necessary kind of deal. But I'm really hoping that the Rivers can pull something out. They got 2 wins off of Boston in the season series, so it's possible. If they can just clean up a couple of things and play better defense around Fujimoto, and Fujimoto has a pretty good game, couple of games, I think they can upset, but it's not going to be easy at all. But all upsets aren't easy. So your 3 stars here are Sharp with a goal and assist, Jamie Benn with a goal and assist, Patrick Eves with a goal. Your stats, a staggering 40 shots for New Jersey but couldn't put it home. And the passing again for the computer is very high at 77%. Ooh. So, that's actually it. I actually finished on time. How about that? Thank you guys for watching again. And if you like this kind of stuff, you can always hit the like or subscribe, you know, if you want to get in when everything starts. Streams are going to be Thursday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And if you don't subscribe, look out for something over the weekend. I got something to brewing. It's not hockey related stuff, but it's something cool. Maybe a little bit of retro gaming. We'll see. But until then, my name is John, aka Jim4576, and I will see you guys later. Peace.